Today's current mobile options make you buy more to get less. But the fun doesn't stop there. Don't forget all the other stuff you need to make it all work. Consider how much this all costs. And don't forget that you have to pay for each device and its accessories separately. That is, until now. The Dragonfly Futurefön is the first and only mobile option that gives you everything you want at a price that makes you smile. Get your Dragonfly today.
The Dragonfly Futurefön. A dual touchscreen, tablet, laptop hybrid with an Intel Core i7 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, 4 cameras, was to be the next best thing in the world of technical marvels. Also, it was a huge scam, which in 2014 was the final version of a scam that had been running since the year 2000. The brainchild of one Jeff Batio, the dynamic futurist. What does that mean? It's interesting that I finally stumbled upon something where I have both corporate investor hijinks and mismanagement as well as scam. We have both things in this story. It's very exciting, very exciting. I can put this video on several different playlists. It's great. It's wonderful. So what the heck is this thing? Well, to put it simply, it's a laptop and a tablet PC, and it allows you to use split screen, dual screen functionality, which is neat. It's a neat idea. Whether it's practical or not is an entirely different question, but it's neat. And again, it was allegedly the brainchild of one Jeff Batio, who goes around calling himself a dynamic futurist. What the heck is a dynamic futurist? Because that you just made that up. And to be fair, he did totally make that up. According to his personal website, so yes, he wrote this. Presumably with a straight face. I just want to make that perfectly clear. This is a term I coined to represent someone who doesn't see the future based on studying the trends being created by others, but instead is someone who helps to create the future by dynamically acting to create and make a better world for us all. Think of Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Bill Gates, and Steve Jobs, to name but a few. Alright, so I haven't even gotten to like the corporate mismanagement or the scam part of this story. And I just want you to all to know. I already hate this person. It's impossible for me to find any part of this likable. Quite the opposite. It's insufferable is what it is. The arrogance, the audacity to sit there and compare yourselves to people that of the past that have actually done something. You have done nothing, and will continue to do nothing. This is you. All right. What did he do wrong, other than everything? Well, before we go into detail about the Dragonfly Futurefön, understand this isn't the first time he's pushed something like this. Well, the Dragonfly was being pushed underneath the Ideal Future corporate umbrella. The original scam started with an entirely different company that Batio also created, known as Zentex Technologies. This earlier version was a bit less, futuristic. Not very dynamic of you, Jeff. Oh, God. But again, it was a similar concept. In this case, it was a straight-up laptop with 2 different screens, able to operate as a single screen or having double screen functionality. My problem with this particular setup is, well, again, it's a neat idea. The limited size of the 2 screens means that you basically would never want to use it in dual screen mode under almost any circumstances. And even if you did use it as one screen, there's a big, line down the middle. Honestly, I can't see this being super popular. Maybe some of you might see a benefit to it, but for me, No. The Dragonfly does look a bit better in this regard, as both screens are wide, but either way it doesn't matter, because neither of these products was ever really shipped to any significant extent, or at all in the Dragonfly's case. According to Jeff, he says that the reason was due to a betrayal of some of his shareholders, as well as the Voyager's manufacturer. According to me, that's probably a load of crap, on the basis that Jeff actually raised several $1 million from investors in order to create the Zentex Voyager, and just didn't actually make it at all. According to the investors who sued him for fraud, they accused him of lying about the company's ability to even bring the Voyager to market in any way, and dishonest about their financial situation. Batio also had a habit of taking quote-unquote loans from the company to pay for his own personal expenses, including vacations, which, yeah, he was just using the money on himself and wasn't actually doing anything productive with it. Somehow he got off with a slap on the wrist for that particular situation, and he decided, I'm just gonna keep doing this because why not at that point? Between the years of 2006 and 2010, Batio managed to get 75 more investors, bringing in $500,000 by selling shares in a company called Armada Systems LLC. In this case, well, again, it was a laptop thing with two screens, though it was a more of a fold-out, zigzaggy thing. I don't know about this one, but either way, this was of course a scam too. This never got made. He never used the money for any development or anything involving the company. He just used it on himself. He was literally taking the money and just using it on himself. It was one of the most dirt simple scams imaginable, and well, this time he did get more of a severe punishment in that he was banned from selling any and all securities in the state of Illinois whatsoever. And that seems to have stopped him, at least when it comes to that. But then the world of crowdfunding websites enters the fold. In the early 2010s into 2014, crowdfunding was a bit of a fad, and it's still a thing you can do, it's still a thing now, but back then it was like there were projects every day, everyone was like, oh, I'll help with this, oh, I'll help with that, and we'll get all these cool things made, and then regular people started realizing, wow, actually investing time and money into people and trusting them to make the thing they're gonna make is indeed quite risky. There are numerous tales of crowdfunding failures or even outright scams. And of course, Batio felt the need to join in on this because, well, he'd already ran this scam twice, why not do it again? And that of course brings us to the Dragonfly Futurefön. It was, again, a split-screen mobile PC thing, though adding in modern features like the tablet and stuff. For being a dynamic futurist, he sure likes just shoving in the latest trends on whatever the heck he's using to grift people. Like, I don't think you actually have an original idea, Jeff. And maybe if you had actually made that thing, created it, maybe you would have wound up with, I don't know, something to show for it. I mean, even if it hit the market and didn't do well, at least you could say you tried. But no, you're not looking to actually make anything. You're looking to just get people to send you money. And since his earlier scans were relatively mute, like there wasn't a lot of press on them, no one actually knew that Batio was not someone to be trusted, even though there were red flags early on. To create something like this, you'd expect someone to need millions of dollars minimum in funding. But the funding goal for the Dragonfly Futurefön was only $10,000. No. No, you're lucky if that retails for $10,000. You need way more than that to make the thing. Don't you lie to me. Listen, if you're ever on the crowdfunding website and you look at something interesting, but you see a really low goal, be skeptical. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because they made way more than that. They wound up raising over $700,000. And the Futurefön was also featured on a bunch of different websites like Gizmodo, Trusted Reviews, and a bunch of other ones because it looked so cool. Also, at this point in the story, I should mention that the idea of a split-screen laptop is something that's actually been toyed with by other people. Jeff didn't even come up with that much. He was just the only one trying to grift on it, to my knowledge. He was also working with someone else about this time, named Bridget Hogan. Now, while it was never outright stated, understand that Jeff and Bridget were actually in a relationship, and they made an attempt to hide this. In fact, it was only determined when their wedding registry page was actually discovered. Not that that's a problem, like, you want your wife involved with what you're doing, okay? Though if what you're doing is scam, that raises a whole bunch of questions. Once the funding was over, well, they started acting like they were working on it and bringing it to market. Between November of 2014 and July of 2016, there were 83 official campaign updates. But over time, most of these updates began to be very samey and not actually add anything new. There were 3D renders and some 3D printed models, but no actual working prototype. And as people became more critical and wondered, hey, are you actually working on this? Or, hey, where's my money? Or, hey, seriously, are you really working on this? Both Bridget and Jeff became a bit more hostile. Perhaps the biggest red flag happened on May 21st and Futurefön update number 82. This was a video update, which is usually pretty good, and it was meant to showcase a new mechanical prototype. Oh, that's great, an actual working prototype? Yeah! Well, for one thing, the new mechanical prototype looked exactly like the old one, so that was neat. But hey, if it's functional, that's great. But there were a lot of things in the video that were like, whoa, this is off stage, isn't it? And it was. People noticed that the Android screenshot used in the video displayed the date of 2014, which would have been 18 months prior. So when was this recorded? Also, that means this isn't like actual footage of the phone like being used with the device. This is all fake, isn't it? They managed to discover where it had been filmed and when it had been filmed, using clues from the businesses in the background, which is insane, but good job, guys. And then it was found that just like with Zentex and Armada systems, Ideal Future's business license had been allowed to expire without any products actually being shipped. Both Jeff and Bridget proceeded to run away and not say anything. That's it. They were out. They were gone. They took the money and ran. They were never working on anything. They were never making anything. This was always the plan. This was always a scam. Jeff had been doing this since the year 2001. He just met Bridget and was like, hey, honey, you want to scam with me? And she's like, yeah, sure, I'd love that. And they did. But this time he would not get away with it. Jeff would be charged with 6 counts of mail fraud and 6 counts of wire fraud, and found guilty of all 12 of those counts in 2019. Thank goodness. To be clear, each one of those is punishable by a maximum sentence of 20 years, so he could have gone away for the rest of his life if the court felt like it, but they didn't do that. In the end, he was sentenced to 96 months in jail. Probably not as much as his backers would have wanted, but more than I expected. But hey, that's a few years in jail, and he did also have to pay restitution exceeding $5 million. If I'm doing my math right, he should be out of jail now, but he's been completely off the radar. As has Bridget, just to be clear. Even back in the days when people believed him, he was pretty good about keeping his face off the internet. Probably because he knew, he was scamming people. It's one of those things. One of those things. Don't believe everything you see on crowdfunding websites. Don't just give people your money without thinking about it, okay? Instead, give me your money. You can trust me. And by that I mean, that's just a joke. I'm just messing with you, okay? Do you really think I was doing? But you should like, comment, share, and subscribe. That'd be great. Anyway, till next time, this is Darkness, and I bid you all a fond farewell.